Intense battles on the football pitch. Incredible tensions off the pitch. Ruthless fan rivalries. This is Barcelona versus Paris Saint-Germain, one of the biggest and most intense rivalries in world football. Everyone knows that these clubs hate each other, but not many people understand the reason for this hostility. This is Inside Football, and we will tell you why PSG have become Barcelona's biggest enemy on the international stage. Support this video with a like, and let's get started! Barcelona versus PSG is already a classic of European football. In total, the clubs have played 12 matches and the score is currently tied. 4 wins for Barca, 4 draws, and 4 wins for Saint-Germain. The Catalans scored 21 goals, the Parisians 23. As you can see, the French still have a slight advantage. The first matches took place in the quarterfinals of the Champions League in the 94-95 season. Paris went on to win on aggregate 3-2. Then Barcelona took revenge and defeated PSG in the final of the Cup Winners' Cup. It was the 96-97 season, and Barca, led by Bobby Robson, beat the opponent thanks to Ronaldo Nazario's only goal. After that, there was a rather long break because Paris stopped being a regular Champions League participant, and only after Paris Saint-Germain was bought by Qatari riches did the matches between the two top clubs resume on a regular basis. 2012-13 season. Quarterfinals of the Champions League. Barcelona defeated PSG only thanks to more goals scored on the road. 2014-15 season. Here, the clubs played a record number of matches between them in one season, 4. First, the clubs exchanged victories in the group stage, and then the battles in the quarterfinals took place, where Barcelona was unstoppable. The 2016-17 season brought this rivalry to a whole new level of hostility. Those matches of the last 16 will forever go down in the history of the standoff. First, PSG destroyed Barca at home 4-0, but the Catalans managed an incredible comeback, 6-1. That's when the word remontada was introduced into French dictionaries. That match was marked by major scandals related to the refereeing of Denis Aitekin. PSG filed several appeals, and a petition even appeared on the internet demanding a replay. But let's not focus on this match for a long time. Anyone who wants to refresh their memories of that incredible match can check out the highlights, while we move on. The 2020-21 season and PSG take revenge in the UCL round of last 16. This match took place in the post-COVID era, and back then Kylian Mbappe simply destroyed Messi & Co at an empty Camp Nou 1-4. In the return leg, Barca failed to recover the memories of the remontada 1-1. And now a new encounter, and again the Champions League quarterfinals. This time the level of hatred is probably the highest, given how much has happened over the years. So, what is the root of the mutual hostility? It all started when Paris Saint-Germain received big money. On March 31st, 2011, Qatar Sports Investments bought 70% of PSG shares. Negotiations took place at the highest state level. In fact, then, the Emir of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, held talks with the then President of France, Nicolas Sarkozy. And it was decided to make Saint-Germain a showcase for cooperation between the two countries. This is how a new powerhouse appeared in world football. Paris Saint-Germain immediately set themselves the ultimate goal of winning the Champions League within a few seasons, and the owners did not hesitate to spend money on top stars. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Edinson Cavani, and Thiago Silva were the first big statements on the transfer market. Barcelona were perceived as one of the biggest competitors, but PSG's owners first entered into business relations with the Catalans, signing a sponsorship deal in 2013, when Qatar Airways ads appeared on Barca's shirts. This cooperation lasted until the start of the 2017-18 season. Spanish media reported that the top management of PSG, represented by the Emir of Qatar, was very offended by Bartomeu's decision to sign a sponsorship deal with Rakuten. It was another act of extreme tension between the clubs, which later turned into a full-scale war. It was before the 2017-18 season that the biggest explosion in the relationship between PSG and Barcelona occurred. How did the clubs come to this? It's all about transfer wars. It all started with Barcelona's approaches to Thiago Silva, David Luiz, and Marquinhos. None of these top centre-backs were ever lured by the Catalans. Paris always found arguments to keep the Brazilians. But a new problem emerged. As soon as Barca declared their interest, the players' representatives came to the management and demanded better conditions, which made Paris Saint-Germain's management, represented by Nasser Al-Khelaifi, very angry. The transfer battles between the then Barcelona president Josep Bartomeu and Al Khelaïfi reached their peak in the summer of 2017. This time, Barca worked on the transfer of Verratti, bypassing PSG and negotiating directly with the player and his entourage. Everything was going well, and in the summer of that year, Marco was even photographed in Ibiza with Mundo Deportivo newspaper with him on the cover. Al Khelaïfi was furious with the reports. It was the last argument to declare war on Barcelona. All this was happening against the backdrop of the remontada, and therefore, Paris Saint-Germain had a plan to destroy the greatness of Barcelona, which was then built on the incredible trio of MSN, Messi, Suarez, Neymar. Paris found Barca's weakness in Neymar. The Brazilian was tempted to betray Barca by using his ego. As an example, in the negotiations, Al Khelaïfi emphasized that even after the remontada, Ney was not on all the covers, although he was the main character of that match. Then the Brazilian won a penalty, scored 2 goals, and provided the assist for the decisive goal for Sergio Roberto. "You'll always be in Messi's shadow while in Barcelona," Parisian negotiators whispered to Neymar. And you know what happened next? A record 222 million, and Ney flaunts at the Parc des Princes. Then PSG began to openly mock Barcelona. Here's an example of the t-shirts that fans wore to Neymar's presentation. You understand the reference? Barca then appealed to UEFA to check PSG for FFP violations, because Paris made deals for Neymar and Mbappe in one transfer window, but Al Khelaïfi got away with it. These transfers shook Barcelona, but due to Messi, the Catalans still had a strong 2018-19 season, which was the beginning of the end of financially powerful Barcelona, who never found an equivalent replacement for Neymar. There was also the transfer of one of La Masia's most promising players, Xavi Simons, in the summer of 2019. The boy was lured with money. Then 16-year-old Xavi was offered a contract for 1 million euros per year. Barcelona responded with the Neymar saga, when the Brazilian spoke directly about his desire to return to Camp Nou, but Al Khelaïfi managed to keep Ney, essentially refusing Barca's offer of 130 million plus Rakitic, Todibo and Dembélé. By the way, PSG tried to get Rakitic out of Barca in the summer of 2018, when the Parisians offered 90 million and an improved contract for Ivan. In fact, PSG aimed to destroy Barcelona using their own method, through secret negotiations. And to some extent, and for a while, Paris succeeded. However, the battles in the transfer market continued. Barca tried to get Adrien Rabiot out of PSG's cage. Then the duel for Frenkie de Jong was won, but the biggest transfer battle was lost. Joan Laporta could not keep Lionel Messi because of the financial crisis at the club, and the greatest player in the history of Barca chose the PSG project, which he later regretted. But that's another story. Also, let's remember the summer of 2023, when Ousmane Dembélé loved Barcelona and Xavi, and then, at one point, he forgot about all this. PSG took advantage of the 50 million release clause and bought out the winger's contract. Another robbery of Barcelona. However, life shows that Barcelona do not give up, and no amount of money from Paris Saint-Germain can destroy the players' love for the Blaugrana colors and the club's history. Now PSG dream about the transfer of Gavi, Pedri and Frenkie, and the club is headed by Luis Enrique, the ex-Barca coach with whom the Catalans celebrated that crazy remontada. It seems that Al Khelaïfi is in a sense obsessed with Barcelona and is ready to do anything to remove the Catalans from the big European arena. In particular, right now Paris Saint-Germain want to perform the Neymar trick again, but this time with Barca's rising star 16-year-old Lamine Yamal, for whom the Parisians are ready to pay 200 million euros. PSG's president often loses his temper in matches against Barca, not to mention the remontada, when Al Khelaïfi's anger was equivalent to a nuclear explosion. However, when Barcelona hosted PSG in the spring of 2021 and when a penalty was awarded in the first match, Nasser freaked out and left the Camp Nou. When a penalty was called for Barca, and also in the presence of Alexander Ceferin, UEFA boss, he applauded the president of the Barca management company and turned to Giorgio Marchetti, deputy to the general secretary of the highest European football organization. Giorgio to Barca. He scolded him before leaving his seat empty for a while Messi converted the maximum penalty. Mundo Deportivo writes about the case. The tension and distance between him and Joan Laporta were evident during the return leg, Mundo Deportivo adds. This is compounded by the history of the Super League's confrontation with UEFA. Laporta, along with Florentino Perez, remains the most passionate supporter of fundamental changes in European football. and Al Khelafi has completely merged with UEFA President Qatari and openly mocks Real Madrid and Barcelona's efforts to destroy UEFA's monopoly on competitions at the highest club level. Meanwhile, Barcelona and PSG ultras openly hate each other. Often at the matches between the clubs, insults are shouted at each other, which we will not publish, but security at both matches should be maximized, because there is a high probability of fights between fans, as both sides have enough reasons for hatred, unfortunately. So, this is the general background of the Barcelona versus PSG confrontation. Barcelona and Paris are two incredibly beautiful cities. These are two clubs that promote beautiful football, but everyone will talk about hating each other. That's life. Friends, please like this video if you found it interesting and subscribe to our channel to watch even more quality content from our team. It was Inside Football. On the Football Club channel, we've released a video on why we think Barcelona will destroy PSG. You're welcome to watch it. And here we bid you farewell. Bye-bye.